Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from downtown Bakersfield, California, here's the voice of the runners, Corey Costello.
That's me, and welcome once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. Corey Costello with you. Thanks so much for joining us from beautiful downtown Bakersfield, California. We got a great show for you planned today. A lot of stuff going on right now, man. It is great. It's a great time to be a Roadrunners fan as well because everything is happening at once, and we're going to get to a little bit of everything on today's program. We're going to cover a bit of everything and talk to a whole bunch of different folks on today's show. We're going to start one of our first guests coming up in the next segment. Our women's soccer head coach, Gary Curneen, is going to join us, and you're thinking, well, it's not women's soccer season. I get that, but he actually just wrote another new book, a very talented author slash soccer coach when it comes to coaching techniques, and he's got a new book out. We'll talk to him about that. Plus, he actually, I think, might have signed the largest recruiting class in the history of any coach at CSUB this past spring. Matter of fact, I think a couple more just going to be announced here shortly as well. So we're going to talk with him about his big recruiting class for 2015, and I think their spring schedule is just about ready to get rolling. So Gary Curneen going to join us coming up in the next segment. Also on the show, Olivia Simko will join us at the bottom of the hour. She is our head sand volleyball coach, and the Roadrunners will open this weekend. Matter of fact, a lot of stuff going on for them. Friday night, they've got a dedication of the Barnes Beach Volleyball Complex operated by the Student Rec Center. They'll be dedicating that facility, and then Saturday, they've got a couple matches planned starting at 10 a.m. at the Sand Volleyball Complex. So we will speak with Coach Simko coming up at the bottom of the hour, and a lot of stuff happening around our golf program, and some of that last week announced in the form of Meghan Thomason taking over as interim director of golf. She will join us on the show. She is our women's golf head coach. That's how she started the year. Has done a fantastic job. Matter of fact, the Roadrunners last week posting their best scores ever at a 3-round tournament. So we're going to talk with her about her new role, and of course the women's season just got underway. We'll chat about that too, and break a little news as well. We'll have some information on our new interim men's golf head coach coming up on the show as well. So stick around for that. But of course, it was a very busy weekend. Basketball is winding down, and of course, every game matters as we get closer to the Western Athletic Conference tournament. Let's go to basketball. Let's go to Seattle. We'll go with men's basketball, getting it going on the road at Seattle Saturday. A game for second place in the WAC, but CSUB struggling out of the gate. The Roadrunners couldn't make a shot, and I mean just couldn't make a mid-range jumper. Those things rattled out, and then it didn't matter. I mean, they were looking at turnovers. Those didn't help either. A couple of those down at the baseline, and then even outside shots. Well, inside shots here, they're not going to go, and just really nothing happening. Runners 0 for their first 10 from the field, not to mention those turnovers we pointed out as well. Seattle, though, took ahead. Got going, Sheree Adanakin with the jam, the first points of the game. Runners again, couple misses, even on the offensive rebounds. They couldn't get them to go. And no dice and no points for CSUB. Seattle relying heavily on Isaiah Umapig on the drive, the easy finish there. Then Umapig showing his range, a pull-up 3. He had 11 in the first half. Sheree Adanakin once again coming up here for Seattle as Umapig led the charge for Seattle early on. Adanakin once again, the jump hook in the lane. A 9-1 run to start the game. One free throw from CSUB was the only point they had. William Powell, the pivot and the finish down low. And then once again, it's Mr. Number 1, Umapig from the 3. Gave Seattle a big lead. They opened the game on a 17-1 run, building a cushion CSUB can never recover from. They would try, though. Here's Cortez Connors nearly 9 minutes into the game, scoring CSUB's first field goal. Then Corbin gets a 3 as well. And it's back once again outside to Connors. Runners are going to be able to cut the deficit to 10 at the half, so not bad. Second half, though, neither team would shoot great, but the Runners had a few spurts. Here's one of them here, Deshaun Richmond off the bench with the three-pointer, cutting the lead to 7. But every time the Runners got something going, Seattle answered. Jaden Coey with the 3 from the corner here, and then next possession, the Roadrunners still trying to keep it close. Richmond going to get it a 9-point game once again with a pull-up jumper, but Seattle answering once again. Coey from the baseline up top. He drains the 3. Runners' chances at second place also drained in the loss as well. Seattle Seattle wins it over Bakersfield 53-43. 12 points for Tyrell Corbin. Runners, though, shooting their second worst shooting performance of the season, just 27% from the field in the loss. And so, as I mentioned, that eliminates the Runners from second-place contention. They've got one more regular season game. This will be on the road at Utah Valley on Saturday, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific. That game will tip off, and said game is very important for the Roadrunners because they can still move a little bit in the conference standings. Here's how it's set. New Mexico State and UMKC right now are the 1-2. Seattle could potentially move up one spot with a win and a UMKC loss, but right now the Roadrunners see themselves in fourth place, which you really don't want that 4-5 matchup because then you're on the same side as the first number 1 seed New Mexico State. So Runners still have a shot, though. Tied at Seattle at 7-6. Seattle, though, has a tiebreak because they're the one blemish on New Mexico State's record. So the Runners need to win at Utah Valley. They need Seattle to lose at Grand Canyon this Saturday. So that's the scenarios for the Roadrunners. On to women's basketball, as it was a little bit clearer of picture for women's hoops. And unfortunately, Dropbox yesterday decided to take a day off, so no highlights for women's basketball. But we got plenty of scores and information. 73-61, the Roadrunners beat Seattle at home as they extend their home winning streak. Check this out. Unbeaten this year and 22 straight games at home. Connor Allen, 29 points to lead the Roadrunners in that one. With the victory, Bakersfield sealed up the number 2 seed and the upcoming Western Athletic Conference tournament. One more game for CSUB. They will be in regular season play, home to Utah Valley, Saturday, 1 o'clock. Once again, it's Senior Day, honoring some of the seniors on the program, including leading scorer Hannah Allen. Allen also 12 points shy of 2,000 for her career. And then the tournament matchup is set for the women's basketball team. They will host Chicago. They will take on Chicago State in Las Vegas, Wednesday, March 11th, 4:30 Pacific time. That game will start. That's the first game of the WAC tournament for the women's basketball squad, already locked in at the number 2 seed. So Bakersfield kind of knows where they are going and who they are playing. And this one this weekend, well, it's pride. They want to win. They want to stay unbeaten at home. They're looking for 23 straight. Should be a good one coming up on Saturday afternoon at the Edcardo Center. All right, moving on for the Roadrunner Wrestling. Bakersfield was in the Pac-12 Championships this past weekend up in Corvallis, Oregon. Here's a list of our top performers. Matt Williams, the runner-up at 197 pounds. This was an injury-depleted Roadrunner squad, defending 174 champion Bryce Hammond, unable to make the bell there because of a shoulder injury all year long. Ian Nickel takes 3rd place at 144. Coleman Hammond, the younger brother of Bryce, takes 4th place at 149 pounds. Adam Fierro wrestles back nicely. He wins his 3rd place match at 165. Sean Pollock finishing in 4th, just off the podium at 184. The Roadrunners finished 5th place as a team in the Pac-12. Moving on here to CSUB Swimming. Speaking of championships, they had the Western Athletic Conference Championships this weekend, and what a list of champions for CSUB. Let's start with relays. The 800-meter freestyle team, that first place title staying in Bakersfield. The team of Paula Hernandez, Michaela Page, Kelsey Lang, Delise Batista, renewing and defending their 800-meter freestyle relay championship with a victory in San Antonio. The women's 200-meter freestyle won by Kelsey Lang, the individual gold. Another individual gold for Kelsey Lang in the women's 100-meter free. And guess who? Kelsey Lang, once again, 400-meter freestyle relay team, along with Nicolette Gonsalves, Lauren Kaufman, and Paula Hernandez winning gold as well for CSUB. Both the men's and women's teams finish in 5th place among team scores. Also on the men's side, a couple more championships for Mitchell Huxold. 800-meter freestyle, he defends actually both his championships in the 800-meter free and the men's 1650 free as well. Once again, WAC championship for Mitchell Huxold. He posted NCAA B-cut time, so right now he's kind of in that list of groups expecting to be invited to the NCAA Nationals in a couple of weeks. Looks like he will get that invite, and of course we'll keep you posted here on Roadrunner Rundown. So a very good weekend for men's and women's swimming. 5th place finishes, but a lot of champions to brag about, a lot of defending championships as well. On to CSUB baseball, and speaking of gold, Runners played very well, nearly as good as gold in this past weekend, because they did lose 5-4 to start the tournament to number 9 Arizona State. But then Bakersfield, you want to talk about recovering. They come back, they beat Gonzaga 6-4 in the first game of a Saturday doubleheader. Then they turn around, Arizona State, remember us. This time Bakersfield does not let the Arizona State get the walk-off. Roadrunners win that one 7-4 over ASU in the second game of Saturday's doubleheader in the Phoenix Municipal Classic. Then they turn around on Sunday. How about this? Roadrunners with a 6-4 victory in 11 innings over Purdue. Chris Caton, the RBI double to help lead the Roadrunners in that one. Bakersfield, 6-4 winners. They go 3-1 at the Phoenix Community Classic against some very good teams. Here's what's coming up for the Roadrunners. They are back at home. A 3-game series with Wagner starts on Friday. Both games Friday and Saturday at 6, and then Sunday at noon as the Runners continue or open a 4-game homestand. They will host Cal State Northridge as well on Tuesday, March the 10th at 6 p.m. By the way, that Tuesday game is our 2-for-1 Tuesday. Any tickets 2-for-1 in the ballpark for that game on Tuesday against Cal State Northridge. So baseball, great weekend as well on the diamond on the road at the Phoenix Community Classic. And, oh yeah, by the way, CSUB softball was in action as well. And the Runners, they had a good weekend too. Looking at softball, it was a tough start as they lose to Sacramento State 4-1, but they, too, bounce back. Bakersfield, huge victory over Cal State Northridge, 7-6. Northridge, a team just knocking on the top 25. Runners win that one 7-6. Then they turn around on Sunday, blank Loyola Marymount on Saturday in the first game of a doubleheader, 2-0 over LMU. Then they turn around and lose the nightcap there, unfortunately, 8-0. And then they're supposed to see Sacramento State again on Sunday. Too much rain down in the SoCal area. That game called because of weather. So Bakersfield will be at the Lobo Classic in Albuquerque this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So great weekend all around for the Roadrunners. And again, a big important weekend coming up for several sports, including men's and women's basketball. And of course, a lot on the line for men's hoops as well. And Western Athletic Conference Tournament next week. And we'll have our full-blown WAC tournament preview next week on the program here on Roadrunner Rundown, so make sure you join us for that. And of course, that's happening Wednesday through Saturday at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. So tickets are still available. You can get we are taking orders. The CSUB allotment has I'm glad to say sold out, but we can still get you tickets. There are still tickets available. You can still get them with us and around us. And just go to our website, gorunners.com, click on the WAC tournament ticket link. You can't miss it. It's like gigantic right in your face. And you can go ahead and order those tickets. We'll get them taken care of for you for the Orleans Arena and the WAC tournament in Las Vegas next week. All right, we're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some soccer. We're going to talk some books. We're going to talk some soccer books with our women's head coach, Gary Curneen. He joins us next on the program. Stick around. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
Welcome everyone. Nissan of Bakersfield has everything for the perfect car buying experience. Like our beautiful showroom, full of the most popular Nissan models for you to explore. And our fully stocked parts and service department, from everything from genuine Nissan accessories to factory-trained service technicians to keep your car running its best. Plus, our massive inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles means you're guaranteed to find the right one for you. Nissan of Bakersfield is where you should buy your next car.
This year, Kern Schools is celebrating its 75th anniversary. And one thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools. North High, opened 1953. West High, 1965. Highland, 1970. Stockdale, 1991. And no matter what school is yours, we all agree, Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all Kern County. Kern Schools, now open to all Kern County residents.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, transportation, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community. A tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
And welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. Still to come on the program, Olivia Simko, our Sand Volleyball head coach, will join us. Also joining us on the show, Meghan Thomason, our interim director of golf, will join us in the final segment of the program. But I want to welcome back to the show as we are not in we're not in women's soccer season per se, but there's a lot going on with the program, and with our head coach, Gary Curneen, he joins us back in the show. Good to see you. How you been?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Good to be here.
Well, first of all, I want to. This is like your poor man's book tour, is what's going on right now. I want to talk about you. Here's the thing that happens: is Coach Curneen writes these books, and then everyone on Twitter talks about how excited they are to see a new book from our very own Coach Curneen. Your new book, The Modern Soccer Coach: Position-Specific Training, and it joins your other book, which was The Modern Soccer Coach 2014. So, talk about this second, phase of your soccer coach series.
Yeah, the first one focused more on the overview of coaching and how the game's changing in every aspect. This one focuses more on positional development, something that in America you guys are familiar with in every sport you play. I mean, golf and baseball have their pitching coaches, and basketball have a post-up play. Yeah. In soccer, we tend to generalize our training program, so every player gets the same type of training. And I think that's producing is players who don't really perform under pressure, or who don't perform at a consistent level, or who don't probably achieve what they're capable of achieving because they're not getting that valuable instruction. So it's a little bit more catered towards the individual player, which sports science is going and sports psychology is going. So it's that's what the goal of it was for.
Where'd you get a lot of this? Obviously, I know you're constantly kind of just consuming things you see from what professional teams do, teams overseas. Where'd you kind of acquire a lot of this stuff and these drills and the things you write about in the book? Yeah,
well, a lot of it's from a lot of the top academies now are across the world are all moving in that direction, and the top coaches are moving in that direction. And that's where, like I say, that's where I think more pro. Even in the US, some of the national teams. I mean, Brian McBride in the US is doing quite a bit of it with the younger programs. It's just not as college. We are slightly restricted with our numbers and with our hours at the minute. So it's something that I'm using for the first time with our group, and we're trying to change our training program as well. So it's, I've done the research, and now I'm using it as well. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, what are the challenges when you come to do that at the college level? Because you maybe have players coming in, whether it's from high school, whether it's from an academy, club team, whatever, and they say, yeah, but I play this position. I'm supposed to be here, and that kind of stuff. So is it tough to not only have the time to put them in a position-specific drill or whatever, but also to identify and convince them that, no, this is where you need to be?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing in the college system is that it's almost, in terms of your soccer, it's all or nothing. The fall season is everything, and the pressure, and you're playing 3 games, 4 games a week sometimes. So it's tough to teach in that aspect of it because you're worried about overtraining and your travel and everything like that there. And then in the off season, our players at the minute are only getting 2 hours a week on the ball, whereas women's Division 1 women's soccer at the same level in France, Germany, Italy, Spain, they're all playing 12, 14 hours a week. So it's like anything. Like a basketball player isn't getting their touches on the ball, isn't shooting the ball. That's going to you know, the quality is going to diminish slightly. So we're facing a challenge with that there. But I think there's a way to do it, and that's what I'm trying. I think it's worth it, and I think it can improve, especially what we're trying to do with this program, with bringing in players with a lot of potential. We're hoping that we can get them to perform better on the field.
This program probably fits in well to kind of what you do, because I guess this program you have a little leeway to sort of be experimental with this program. I mean, you know, there's a lot of places where you want to get somewhere where the program hasn't been yet, so you have a little leeway to say, let's try this, as opposed to other places that might say, we've done it this year this way, we've been successful this way, we're going to keep it this way. Yeah.
Well, we've got to develop players, and that's where, you know, and we've got to win games. So our model here has to be win games, develop players, win games. And a lot of other Division 1 schools that are established and doing well aren't under the pressure to develop players because they're getting top 50 recruits, and those kids aren't coming here, but that's okay. But if we don't have a model and a system on how we're going to take players from this level to that level, then we're kidding ourselves, and if we do produce it, then we're just getting lucky. So what I would like the program is to say, right, this is what our program is, to developing players. This is what we're doing that maybe other programs aren't, and maybe it becomes a selling point for our recruiting as well.
Absolutely. And it seems like, I mean, just the coaches community and things I've seen online, I mean, folks have responded well to this book early on, right?
Yeah, well, nobody's read it yet, so that could change quickly.
Yeah, well, and this is kind of a passion for you. I mean, obviously, coaching is a passion, but then, you know, writing about coaching and trying to help other coaches be better coaches and things like that. I mean, that's where did that kind of passion develop for you?
I've always loved writing. Like, I love the blogs. I love writing about, you know, I was talking to Richie yesterday. I really, really enjoy it, and it's a bit geeky, you know, that you're writing about a sport, but the passing on information is something that I just think it's the more you give out, the more you tend to get back, and that sounds a bit corny, but it's true online. You know, I get the majority of the information I get is from Twitter and YouTube, and 10 years ago it was, you know, it was coaching courses, and it was, I suppose, textbooks would be the equivalent of it, but those things are slowed down slightly. So it's something that I think the more information I give out, the more I almost get challenged on it, which then forces you to reinforce, you know, well, I need to think twice whether that's right or not. So it's not a, you know, and I try not to be that way online. I try not to be it's this way or it's no way at all. You know, people can disagree with but you can't disagree with the fact that in order to improve players, you need a system and you need time with them. So if you're not spending your time individually with your players and you're not producing a program that's catered towards them individually, then you know, it would take a lot for me to convince. But there's going to be better ways of doing it, and I'm hoping to find that way out very quickly.
We always try to see to be figuring it out one way or another. Now, let's talk about your specific team. We didn't get a chance to catch up after you announced your 2015 recruiting class, which I think makes up about 30% of the incoming freshman class at CSUB. You had a great the student athletes look very promising, and big class. It's getting bigger. I think a couple more were cleared through compliance the other day. Talk about the class and a couple of highlights from this incoming group that you hope to see help the program.
Yeah, I mean, we're really, really excited about it. Obviously, you know, it's my first recruiting class. We've looked for four things, and we've looked for the athleticism is huge, and it's not just about big and strong and fast. It's about having the capabilities to sustain training every day at the intensity that you need to at an elite soccer level, which we haven't had that before. So yeah, we're working. Our girls worked hard in the fall. Do we work at the levels needed? I don't think we do. So we need that type of athlete here. We also obviously need the type of soccer player who, you know, if you know, out of our last 7 games, 5 of them we outshot up opponents, which would have been unheard of at the first. But we didn't win those games. We didn't win those games because we didn't have the right players at there. So we need the right pieces in the jigsaw. The academic side is huge for us because we're not trying to win an academic award. It would be nice, but we're trying to build a culture that involves performing under pressure, high standards, and absorbing. I mean, all this information that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you give that to a player who has a 2.2 GPA, they're not interested in it, and you know, so they have to have an ability to take on information and to absorb it and to want more of it. And the last part is the character. We want people who, we don't want the same type of person.
Yeah.
We want different people, but we want. I mean, the two things that I've seen in our program that are guarantees: you're going to be an underdog here, and you're going to travel a lot based on our schedule. So there's no point in bringing in pessimistic people, because a pessimist, you lose a game and they're down, or you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's the worst thing in the world. So you want people who are going to generate energy and to come in every day with smiles on their faces. So, you know, they're not all happy-go-lucky,
right,
but they're competitive and they're energetic, and they bring different, you know, there's East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and hopefully an international or two as well.
Did you were you like a lot of coaches? Because I know last year was your first year in the WAC, but I know a lot of coaches after their first year, they kind of learn, looking at the conference, you brought up the travel, knowing that you need to get that kind of tough player, that sort of resilient player. Yeah. Did that first year kind of help you say, I need to change my recruiting model just a little bit to be to get the kind of player that can be successful in the WAC?
Absolutely. I mean, our program has won 2 games. You talk about a basketball streak and you know, the last section. We've won 2 games on Sundays in 2 years.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal. Right. So is that down to fitness? Is that down to standards? Is that down to becoming a bit tired? Is it travel? But whatever it is, you need to drastically change it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where we're trying to do it, is to say, right, can we get a team to perform, not on a Friday night when the crowd but on a Sunday at 3 p.m. when it's 95 degrees and there's 2 cats and a dog at it.
Right.
You know, that's what we want.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that Friday Sunday is a big part of the conference schedule, obviously. So you got to be successful. You know, you kind of essentially start over with a young team next year. Going to be another challenge, but you seem to be. It seems looking at this group, even though young, could still be very competitive.
Well, I think I hate the excuse, well, we're young, because it's, you know, and then say, well, we're naive. But I honestly believe, my experience coaching, you're better off with raw energy than here we go again, because that doesn't help anyone. And I felt the last year when at critical stages of the season, we had to jolt our players into, come on, we can do this. Yeah. And if you're motivating in September and October in our business, you're in trouble. So you have to get kids who are, you know, oh wow, this is.
They don't know any better.
Oh,
they're just going to run through a wall.
You're going to Kansas at 7 o'clock in the morning,
right,
and they've never been to Kansas before, and they're excited about it. Well, that's great, you know, and hopefully you can create an environment that actually feeds off that there, you know, and then if you create, you know, if you have one person like that, it's difficult. That sometimes gets a bit subdued, but if you get 20 of those people, you can carry there's pessimists in every organization. Yeah. We will have them as well, but you can carry them. You just don't want too many of them. You know?
No, I like it. I think we should add, you know, maybe as far as, you know, sometimes coaches have phrases on their walls and stuff and that describe us as a program. Maybe we should put naive up as well, because that seems to help.
Yeah.
You want those kids that just don't know any better and want to go out and perform. Well, Coach, congrats on the new book, and good luck with the sales of that. I'm sure this program, it's just, we're knocking on the door. New York Times bestseller lists. We're right there.
We'll be up there.
We'll help you out. And then your spring season, I know it gets underway here shortly. I know you're working a little bit, so good luck with that. And we'll definitely catch up throughout the summer and into the fall.
Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it.
All right, Gary Curneen here on Roadrunner Rundown. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk some sand volleyball. Olivia Simko is going to join us. Runners open up this weekend. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all these great rivalries. But despite all these rivalries, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
I am not going to ask him about funguses.
Fungi.
Honey, have you called Gunlax about fixing that toilet upstairs?
You know, I saw a plumbing episode on the Fix It channel. Yeah, I can fix it.
You could try it yourself, or you could just call Gunlax and save your marriage.
Hey, honey, I think I did it.
Gunlax, 327-3052.
That wasn't so bad.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at OrleansArena.com.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes. We're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
And welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Gary Curneen for joining us on the program. The new book, The Modern Soccer Coach, Position-Specific Training, available now. Just search for it, Google, Amazon, all that good stuff, and get your hands on that if you are interested in the soccer coaching lifestyle. I want to welcome to the program now as we move on to Sand Volleyball, which opens this Saturday at home. Olivia Simko, our Sand Volleyball head coach. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us. I know you had to get the team up a little earlier today to make sure you could be here. So I'm going to get a bunch of evil looks when I get back to this to the campus today. They'll be like, oh, you're the reason we had to practice in the morning. But thanks so much for joining us. Second season at the helm of Sand Volleyball. So you ready for another year?
Oh, yeah. We're excited. Very excited.
You made a lot of strides as a Sand program last year. I mean, everything from facility to wins, team titles. Where do you kind of see this program this year in your second year in charge?
Well, you know, it's been very exciting so far. We started about a month ago, and I feel like the girls just kind of picked up where we left off last year. So I spent a lot of time doing a lot of specific training because I didn't know the game very well last year. And now they kind of know everything. So we've been just drilling, you know, playing competitive spirit, working as a team to achieve, you know, success. So it's a little different of a mentality because they're not learning as much this year. I mean, you know, they're still learning, but just not as much. And so we're just going for, you know, same when we were indoor, you know, with the WAC championship, just play your heart out. That's kind of our same mentality this year.
And I know this year, as far as the indoor volleyball team was a little bit smaller. And so last year you could kind of pick and choose who played Sand. But I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, no, we're all playing this year because we don't have enough people. So you have a few people out there that maybe haven't played before this year. But, I mean, obviously everyone's going to get a crack to playing the Sand this year.
Yeah. And you know what? It makes it much more manageable having 12. Last year we had about 15, so I had to split up practices. So I had 2 practices a day and 8 girls at each practice. So a lot more work for me. But this year it's nice having 12 because the girls get, you know, a lot more reps. There's a lot more opportunity for everybody to play, like you said. So it's easier for me to keep track of, you know, who does what and where they are, and as opposed to having so many kids.
Now let's talk about the pairings. You had a few top teams last year, you know, broken up because of graduation. One left, one stayed. So who are a couple of the top pairs that fans can watch for this season to be successful?
Yeah, so pretty much our team 1, Molly's on team 1 again, and Mariah was on the last. Mariah was Team 2 last year. Now she's Team 1
Okay.
with Molly, so that's a new pairing. Danica and Sid right now are staying together. They were our 4th team last year. Now they're our 2 team.
Okay.
Let's see. Kelsey is actually with Hazel this year. Last year, Hazel, our sand only player.
Yeah.
Holding it down, Hazel. She's on the 4th team with Kelsey right now. 3rd team is Sophie, who didn't get to play that much last year, but she's made a lot of strides. And she's playing with Sarah Little on the 3rd team.
Awesome.
So, and then our 2 indoor kids who've never played sand before, Megan Johnson and Louisa Martins, they are kind of battling for that 5th slot. So it's exciting at practice. Everyone's working hard and excited to get it going.
Yeah, I was actually talking with Louisa about this the other day, and she said, "Yeah, I lived not too far from the beach in Brazil, but I never played beach volleyball."
She's actually doing really well. I mean, I feel for Megan and Louisa. It's actually, like I said, like the girls are kind of picking up where they left off last year, but Megan and Louisa never really had that training. So they're a little bit behind, but they're both fighters and they want to do well. So I've seen good strides with them the past 5 weeks.
You brought up Danica and Sid, both who had really tremendous years in the indoor side in their improvement from the year before. Have you seen that maybe the same in the sand? I mean, people expect really similar strides to be made in the sand for them at what they saw in the indoor season?
I definitely believe so. I know that Danica really broke out of her shell on the indoor this year. And, she's young, so I think she struggles a lot mentally, but I see her making constant improvement, and she's talking to me about what she needs to work on. She's, heeding advice from the coaching staff, and she loves sand a lot. That's where her heart really lies, is in sand volleyball. So she loves the game so much. She gets really frustrated still, but I think I see her maturing every day, and I see her trying to kind of calm her frustrations more. So I think, that'll be fun. I'm excited to see them in competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And that number 1 pairing, I mean, both those teams were they were a part of good teams last year at one point or another. So to put those 2 together with Molly and Mariah should be a lot of fun for people to watch. You'll be dedicating the facility on Friday. Now, you played in the facility last year, but it just basically, it opened up, the day before. It was just barely done. This year, officially going to be dedicated thanks to the Barnes family, their donation, and the Student Rec Center partnership as well. What has that kind of meant for this program to have that facility, even this year, to have it all year long and be able to train?
Yeah, it's meant so much to us, especially, in every aspect, even scheduling, getting teams to come out here and compete against us. Like, our facility is a huge part of our program and a huge part of, who we are. So we're so thankful and so lucky to have that facility. And it's top quality too. It's not just, a sand pit. The sand's really nice and smooth. And it's deep too. So they get good training. We got 3 courts out there that are good quality. Steve comes out and makes sure the nets are at the right height and everything. So he's very involved with that. And I'll text him and say, hey, we got an issue with this. And I'll do it,
Sure.
So we're so thankful for that family, and we're glad to give them the recognition that they deserve, both Lori and Steve.
And this facility also, not only for your team and your program and the students on campus, but it's meant a lot to the sport in general. I know there's adult league playing out there now. There's there's clubs that have been formed. So really the facility in general has helped the entire community and the sport.
Yeah, that's why, Friday we're excited to not only dedicate it, but show the community that it's here and that sand volleyball is, in Bakersfield, and we want it to be big. And, the Student Rec Center is also a huge part of it too. And I think a lot of kids on campus are starting to realize, hey, this is open for us too. So it's a really fun game, and people are starting to catch on.
And really, it's you got to be excited about the future of the sport, because we have an actual national championship, I think, next season, sponsored by the NCAA. It got through all the approval process. More schools are adding it every year. We kind of got in on the ground level of this thing, but it really seems to be growing in popularity across the nation.
Yeah, which is really fun. I'm excited to see how it turns out next year. I think our season will be longer, which will be more fun. Yeah. We're playing top competition right now, so that's probably not going to be a surprise for us next year. We're going to play more, but I'm excited to see how that kind of rolls out, and what conference we end up in. If more teams from the WAC, I don't know, kind of jump on the bandwagon, that'd be cool. But I would, love to continue playing all the top teams that we do right now.
Yeah, and this weekend you're playing one of your old schools, Cal Poly, along with Cal State, Northridge. But you only have 4 home matches in March, and then you're on the road for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But so folks had a chance to come out 10 a.m. on the Saturday. And again, I mean, I guess what would be the selling point? What I tell people is it's different than anything you've probably seen, like an event you go to. Everything has a time clock and this and that. Even indoor volleyball has, it's all the action's happening at once and everybody's quiet while it's going, whatever. Sand volleyball, you got 3 matches going on. There's music going the entire time. It's just you're jumping around from pit to pit and court to court. So it really is kind of fun for the fans to watch.
It is. It's very interactive. I mean, they get to come out in the sunshine and be around friends and family and talk. And, when we're not done, the girls are talking with their families in the crowd. And it's a really cool environment. It's very laid back, but at the same time, it's very competitive. So it's so much fun to be there. Take your shoes off, get your feet in the sand. It's a good time.
Yeah, and weather's supposed to be great this weekend, so that helps. That helps as well. And we were actually talking off air, but what a really last 12-month period this has been for you. I mean, right before the start of Sand season last year, you're named as the interim head coach, and so here you go. You're taking off with that, and then but then you become you're an assistant on the indoor team that wins the WAC championship. You go to the NCAA tournament. You had a son in the process. I mean, this has to have been a really crazy 12 months for you.
Yeah, looking back, it feels like it's been 10 years, but it's been 12 months, and I am just so thankful for the opportunity, really. I feel like, I've been running ever since I was here with you last year at this time. I feel like I've just been running. But it's been an awesome experience. The indoor coaches, Giovanna and Cesar and Mackenzie, are awesome people. And it's been a privilege coaching with them. I'm learning from them, and now to get to do sand over again, it's really cool. And Cesar and Mackenzie are helping me in the sand, which is great, to kind of have, the whole crew on board and to have that support and really feel like I don't have to do it all myself this year.
Absolutely. Looks great. Well, once again, Friday evening, the dedication at the complex, and then Saturday, 10 a.m., the action starts at the Barnes Beach Volleyball Complex with the Student Rec Center. So, Olivia, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll be updating folks throughout the Sand season on the show, and talk to you again soon.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Olivia Simko here on Roadrunner Rundown. When we come back, Meghan Thomason is going to join us. She's our new interim director of golf. We'll talk about the future and the direction of that program. When we come back, this is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
BHS, EC, CSUB.
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing
we can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
Introducing the Next Gen Home by Lennar. Your family is constantly evolving. The kids move out, the kids move back. Maybe grandma moves in. You need a home that will grow with you and your family. The Next Gen Home by Lennar has a separate private living space with a bathroom, kitchenette, and entrance all its own, but still connected to the rest of the house. It's a home within a home. New models now open in the Central Valley. To learn more, visit a Lennar Welcome Home Center near you or visit lennar.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
It all comes down to this. 14 teams battle their way through the bracket for a chance to punch their ticket to the big dance. Be a part of the madness in Las Vegas, March 11th to 14th. Go all in and witness who goes home a champion at Orleans Arena. The 2015 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. Tickets on sale now at orleansarena.com.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community. A tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Olivia Simko for joining us on the program. Again, Sand Volleyball, 10 a.m. on Saturday. You just walk in the door, and we don't have any tickets for that. So what you can do, get there at about 10 o'clock. Check out. You can check out Sand Volleyball. Water polo is going on about the same time as well, and then and women's basketball at 1. So just kind of stay in that general vicinity and check out a few things happening this week at CSUB, and of course baseball 6 o'clock on Saturday night. So Saturday's a very busy day on campus, so you can check out Sand Volleyball starting at 10 a.m. against Cal Poly, and then later in the afternoon against Cal State Northridge. I want to welcome to the program now as we continue on the show, as she is now our interim director of golf and previously serving as the women's golf head coach here at CSUB and continuing to serve that role as well. Meghan Thomason. Meghan, good to see you. How you doing?
Great to see you. Thanks for having me on. Doing well. Been busy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been quite a week. It started with you and your women's team playing in Arizona, and very good finish there. We'll talk about that. You end the week as the interim director of golf, so things tend to move pretty quickly, don't they?
They do. They do.
Well, let's talk about your recent appointment. You're taking over Greg Osborne and left to head back to junior college. So what sort of role will you kind of take on now with both programs?
I'm going to be probably more behind the scenes with the men's team, just organizing their travel for the rest of the year, tournaments, making sure we have them set so that they don't miss a beat, really. Yeah. It's tough to lose a coach in the middle of the season. Anybody that's gone through that knows that, and we just want to, keep them going in the right direction because they've been playing some really good golf lately, and we don't want this to be any setback to that.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll talk about them in a second. I want to talk about your team real quick. Your season just got underway on the women's side, and you played very well in Arizona. I think best single-round scores, best tournament scores. You got to be pretty happy. I know the last day you fell off a little bit, and you weren't completely happy with that, but just the initial showing for this women's team and some good rounds and some good tournament scores.
We made a lot of stride in the last, in our fall season. The girls worked so hard. With a really young team, it takes a while for that to show up in tournament golf. We struggled a little bit out of the gate in Northridge, and then the kids who I've been seeing in practice rounds and on the practice tee showed up in Phoenix this week. Nice. Julia Stewart played incredibly for 3 days. 78, 75, 73, smashed the 3-round scoring record by an individual by like 3 shots. Yeah. She just works. And I'm really, really glad it finally paid off for her. It was a really, really good team effort. Like you said, we fell off a little bit in the 3rd day, but we're going to take a lot of positives away from that, knowing how to kind of prevent that from happening in the future. And, we're looking forward to teaming up again in Monterey next week.
Well, and I think your total team score for the tournament was 27 strokes less than all time. So that's big.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how much improvement we've made over this last year. That breaking records by 27 strokes is great, but we just want to keep improving. We don't want to. It's great to break records. It's great to be excited about that. The girls were very excited, but it's all about improvement and moving forward and getting better every day.
Yeah. Well, put in perspective, 27 strokes is me through the first 4 holes.
I know.
So, so that's pretty impressive. What's been your approach and philosophy for a program like this women's golf team that hasn't had a ton of success over the years? So, what are some of the things that you've done to help them get to this point like that?
For us, it's really been a culture change. It is me laying out my expectations for each individual and then each member of the team, as a team. And it's been about showing up. It's been about working really hard, basically being there when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and no excuses. And it took a little bit of time for that to kind of set in, but I think, as a program, we're all on the same page now. And the girls are seeing that that the reward of their hard work and them buying into the vision that I have for this program. So that's what it comes down to, and it's going to be the same thing going forward in terms of what I'm doing with my current team and what I'm looking for in recruits. It's just going to be kids that come to school, want to work hard, and want to get better every day.
We were talking in the first segment with Gary Curneen about his program on Sundays. For him, saying, look, we have only won 2 Sunday games in the last 5 years, whatever, because that's the tough day. Golf is kind of similar, whether it's Sunday, Monday, whatever's the last day of the tournament. How tough is it to kind of train a team when you're only getting maybe a practice round or two to get ready to play your third or even your third round on a Sunday?
It's hard to stick in mentally, is what it is. The Phoenix tournament was actually our first 3-day tournament we've played this year, and it wears on you. We left at 3 a.m. and drove 7.5 hours to Phoenix, played our practice round, and we were on the golf course, at the practice tee by 6:30 the next morning. Yeah. So you do that a couple days in a row, that's going to wear on you. The girls have been working out, they're in shape, so it's not physical fatigue by any means. Yeah. It's just, being able to stick to our game plan for 3 days. Yeah. That's all it is.
And you've actually put them on an actual, like you said, a workout plan with the strength coach and things like. I know some people would say, well, I don't want to mess up my swing, I can't lift weights, whatever. But I mean, you've done that, and that seemed to have helped.
Yeah, it's in college golf. It's the name of the game now. If you're not doing it, you're behind when you tee it up. Without a doubt. And in terms of like the weightlifting thing with golf swings, every professional I know of lifts weights. Yeah. And Brendan and Zach are very, very capable, and they do a great job with the girls.
Nice, and like I said, it's definitely shown. Now we want to break a little bit of news here because you are going to be working with a new interim men's golf coach as well. Megan Bunker going to take over that role. She played here. She's a PGA apprentice. Your thoughts on her involvement with the men's team?
Megan brings a lot of experience in the golf industry to the team. I think she is going to be a great influence on the guys in terms of just work ethic and kind of setting the same expectations that she had when she was in college. She's, going to be very in tune with, scheduling practices, kind of when they need them, getting them qualified, and kind of running like the day-to-day, operations of the men's team.
Nice.
Take him to the next couple tournaments. So
yeah, and we're gonna have to figure something out though, because we've had it sometimes. We've already lumped together. Like yesterday, I heard someone say, "I have a meeting with the Megans." So I mean that kind of works, but we were talking in an office. Like now we're looking at each other saying, "Well, I talked to Megan." They're like, "Which one?" So we need to figure out kind of identifier.
I'm even confused.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have you with Megan with an H.
Yes.
And we have double G Megan.
That's
so
right.
that could work too.
Maybe.
I don't know. We
Something
gotta
like
figure out. Megan T, Megan B. I don't know. We got to figure something out. But anyway, it seems like going to be a good addition to the program as well. And now you've got, you're kind of serving the director of golf role, and then she's serving as the men's head coach. So you have what people asking the question? What about the dynamic? Women's coaches over a men's sport. Your thoughts on that?
It's a dynamic that is interesting. There are, plenty of women out there that coach men's sports.
We have one on campus with Marsha, our director of track.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be any different for the guys. I think they have a lot of respect for her. She brings, a really impressive resume to the program. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. Yeah. And it's an awesome opportunity for her. So
for sure. And I was just checking things out, as far as she's got a few records that she set when she played here, but to also have she's gotten better, it seems like. And you talked about that, getting, guiding the guys in the right direction to continue to get better. I mean, she's gotten better after she left college, and now has an opportunity. She's getting close to that PGA card as well. So.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's a long process to get the PGA. So.
Yeah, exactly. What's been, what are some of your goals as the director of golf in this role right now?
Going forward, we're just kind of hanging on for dear life until the end of the season. I think we'll probably revisit that, after April 22nd, when WAC finishes up. But, her and I just sitting down over the last few days, a priority for us has to be fundraising. Sure. We need to be able to raise money to give our student athletes the best opportunity out there, and bring in the best student athletes we can get to come to Bakersfield. Right. And just really getting on the same page with the expectations we have for every single golfer at CSUB, regardless of if they're on the men's team or the women's team. And her and I are on the same page with that. And so I think there are a lot of positives, going forward and coming up. And we're going to hang on for dear life, like I said, for the next couple months. Yeah. And then really push it so this program's thriving.
Good. Well, we expect big things out of the Megans, so I'm just letting you know right now.
You should.
There you go. I like it. Meghan Thomason, our interim director of golf here on Roadrunner Rundown. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, and hey, congrats on the new role, and we'll be keeping track on the team as play continues here in a few weeks.
Thank you very much.
All right, Meghan Thomason here on Roadrunner Rundown. And by the way, folks, thanks so much for joining us. You can get this show anytime online at GoRunners.com. Just to recap, what we got is a huge weekend coming up. You got Sand Volleyball at 10 a.m. You got water polo going on as well on Saturday. Baseball starts their series on Friday night against Wagner. They'll be in action Saturday night at 6. And women's basketball, the streak is at 22 games unbeaten at home, trying to make it 23. They play at 1 o'clock. Make sure you get out there as well because that will be Town Outland. So just looking for 12 more points to hit 2,000, and not a lot of folks in the NCAA have done that. So that's going to be kind of another record watch as well, and of course trying to make it 23 straight games in the Carter Center for Women's Hoops as well. That'll go at 1 o'clock. Tickets are available at valleytix.com for that game, and of course we'll have highlights on the program next week. Thanks so much for joining us. Get the show anytime online at GoRunners.com and the permanent home of Roadrunner Rundown. Right in the top right corner up there, you can see the new Roadrunner Rundown player and watch the show anytime online there at GoRunners.com. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We will catch you next week. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.